Mark Twain said it this way: there was never yet an uninteresting life. Such a thing is an impossibility. Inside the dullest exterior, there is a drama, a comedy, and a tragedy. Simply put, everyone has a story. I believe that too many people take theirs for granted. Some people never think about their story, their life story. Some people never process it, nor do people often learn from others. And even worse, most people never, ever tell their story. Over the next few weeks on the Wise Idea podcast, we are focusing on listening and learning from not just our life story, but from the life story of others and even those around us. We want to take our thinking about our own life story to another level. We want to have an appreciation for life in general and our lives in particular. It's hard, to fully appreciate parts of our life story, often while we're in the situations themselves. That's a thing called hindsight. One person said it this way: the historian is a prophet looking backwards. Arthur Conan Doyle of the complete Sherlock Holmes series said it this way: it is easy to be wise after the event. Oh, that's so good. Milan Kundera said it this way: we go through the present blindfolded. Only later, when the blindfold is removed and we examine the past, do we realize what we've been through and understand what it means. So simply put, we're going to evaluate our life stories. I ask you the question today: what is your life story?
Welcome to the Wise Idea weekly podcast with Christopher J. Harris, focusing on life, leadership, family, marriage, and the church. We are providing tools for our inspiration and wisdom for life. Our goal is to inspire everyday people to live wise lives. If you're new to us, we release a brand new podcast weekly on Thursdays. Thank you for tuning in for this week's episode. Here's our host, Christopher J. Harris.
Tears are the nutrients of dreams, like sunlight is to plants.
So tears are the nutrients to dreams, like sunlight is to plants. Wow.
So I was able to take that, and even though I was nervous to go and apply for it again the next year, 2018, I was able to, and that year I actually won. So it showed me that I didn't have to give up just because of that one no, and that I could be able to realize what the phrase that my mom was talking about. I was able to realize that no is just an abbreviation for next opportunity.
No is an abbreviation for next opportunity.
Yes.
Good gracious. Man, listen, I just got a chill up my spine. We got a 12-year-old dropping tweetables. Come on, somebody. That's good. So that's powerful. There's this book that I read a number of years back, right after my oldest was born, and the book was called The Blessing of Skinned Knees, and talks about, as parents, the danger, as you mentioned, of sort of overprotecting our children from being able to really develop that resilience that's necessary and that's needed. So I think that's amazing. So here's let me throw this monkey wrench in there, because I think if somebody is hearing this and they don't know the whole story, they don't know, Rozalynn, that you are still working a full-time job while you're doing all of this. So let's talk about that.
Yes. As Christopher mentioned, as we started the podcast, we were all juggling. So I'm back in the office this week after being at a business conference last week, but I am still working a full-time job as a healthcare lobbyist. I wish I was doing hair or something that was related to bows, but I'm not. It would make a little bit more sense. But I am I'm a lobbyist. I'm in government affairs and politics and healthcare related to our states, representing our state's hospitals. I am very blessed to have a flexible job, but nonetheless, it is a full-time job. So this is not something that I am pursuing during the day. This is a come home, get the kids' homework together and make sure they're academically prepared for the week, and testing and those type things, put them to bed and burn the midnight oil, working the dream. And as my husband often says, sometimes you have to put in the work and, work the dream until the dream can fund itself. And sometimes your work has to fund the dream until the dream can fund itself. So that's where we are right now. People can make a lot of different excuses about time. I don't have time to do this. And, even we talk to parents all the time. I actually spoke to a parent 2 days ago who said, my daughter's been on me for years about starting her own business. I just don't see how I'm going to have the time. And I'm like, you don't have the time. You won't have the time. You have to make the time to develop these skills in your child. And if there's something that they will not let go, we owe it to them as their parent just to make that sacrifice. And I couldn't make it, a bed of roses for her. I just said, you just have to make the decision to make the sacrifice. And that's exactly what we've been doing. And that I'm hashtag no excuses.
Wow. So, and I think it's important to really put that out there, because I think sometimes when we look at other people's stories, sometimes it's in our nature to immediately start looking at what we don't have compared to the other people. So Gabby's in school. You guys have a younger, Gabby has a brother.
Yes.
You're working a full-time job. Your husband's working multiple jobs and on the road a lot. It's not like you guys came from millionaires. No. And, you are making all of this happen. So at this point, is Gabby Bowes profitable? Have you guys turned that corner? Are you still what does that look like for the person that's listening to this as an entrepreneur?
We're profitable, but every bit of the profit is going back into reinvesting into the company. So we're not paying ourselves a salary. Like I said, we're in the midst of some big opportunities right now that are, we'll be able to reveal soon. But in doing that, to be prepared for big box retail opportunities, for example, there's a big inventory purchase that needs to be made. So, the money right now is just being reinvested into building the company. We had a great year of growth on last year, but we certainly had to make a number of pivots. We had to do something with our business model. So for the entrepreneurs who are on the line, everybody's like, wow, that's awesome. You created a barrette that doesn't slip out. If you're an entrepreneur, you're listening to what I'm saying and you're realizing it took me a while to realize, okay, that's a wonderful way to solve a problem. But that's probably not a good business model. If you created something that people never have to buy again, that's a problem for your revenue stream. So we
wow. I didn't even think about that until you just said it.
No, you don't think about that. We get testimonials that all three of my daughters have used your barrettes. I'm like, oh my God, you just punched me in the gut.
Wow.
That's not good.
I need you to come back and buy 5 more packets.
Oh my goodness. We solved the problem a little too well. So, at first we were like, okay, we just got to keep coming out with designs. Designs are expensive. So we get messages all the time. Let's create a rainbow. Let's create a heart. Let's create a horse. I'm like, you got $10,000?
Wow.
Every time we come up with a new design, it's a minimum of that. We have to get tooling and prototypes and molding and all those type things. So we realized that, okay, we're going to have to adjust our revenue model to add some things that are disposable. So we just introduced a hair product line for girls. We've introduced a storage organizer called the Gabby box. There's a children's book that's been written about it. So in the last year and a half, we've introduced bundles, and people can buy, we got up to 13 colors and designs right now, but they're complementary products to help increase that average order value, just to help our business model. And we
Did you just say 13 colors and designs?
Yes.
All right, so I wasn't born yesterday, so 13 times 10,000. Huh?
Minimum. Yeah.
She said minimum.
Much more than that.
Okay.
It's much more than that. Depending on how many bows we order. Yeah. So yeah, it's been a heavy upfront investment. So
I'm wondering, okay, so is this a situation where if I roll up at the Goodwin household, I got to step over boxes of inventory, or are you working with a y'all both are laughing. So are you guys working with a shipping company? Does the UPS people know your address personally? Like, what's the deal here?
You will walk into people walk in our house and I say, welcome to our home warehouse. It looks like a warehouse because we're of course we're trying to keep costs down for our customers. So we are filling orders ourselves.
Really?
What used to be our dining room.
Yes. We can't eat there anymore.
Yeah, we can't eat there. The table is consumed, laptops, Dymo label printers, inventory we have on hand. Now, up until probably a year ago, we had all of our inventory in our house, all the way up to the ceiling, in what used to be barely get in, our dining room, the hallway, just to reduce costs. I mean, this is real talk, y'all. This is real talk. So people jumping off, starting a business and going to get office space, like we do that when that's necessary. And so we were able to get a first micro loan from a local bank, and we were able to get our largest order of barrettes. Cause like I said, we were only buying the minimum. So we buy 10,000 packs because that's all the money we had. We finally established a relationship with the local bank who was ready to build a relationship with us. We were able to order a truckload of bows, like 56,000 packs, the largest we had ever ordered. Of course, we couldn't put 56,000 packs of bows in our house. So we didn't go buy office space or buy a warehouse. We just went and got some storage space. And we packed those bows up in that storage unit. Man, we had to do like Spider-Man tricks to get to a certain color right now. But listen, we're not overspending. We're watching our expenses. And, so we're filling orders out of our home. We, have family who are on contract, 10 hours a week to come and fill orders. And that's what we're doing. It's not glamorous, but that's real talk.
All right. So I'm going to ask both of you guys a question because I'm going to assume that the answer is going to be different for each one of you. So Gabby, how many hours a day do you spend working on Gabby bows? Rozalynn, how many hours a day do you spend working on Gabby bows?
I don't even count that. Oh gosh.
Gabby says she doesn't even count. Does Gabby have a bedtime?
Yes, but I've lost it now. I used to. But I probably work about 2 hours a day, 1.5 hours a day, 1 hour, something like that. It's up, it's down some days.
It depends on if she's in school, if she has dance. So yeah, that
she's also right doing dance.
In summertime, she's probably already put in
10 hours.
Yeah, she's probably already. I'm talking about today. She's probably already put in 5 hours of work.
Wow.
Social media.
Yeah, she was doing that while I was at work. She's been working on. She got out of camp and started working on the business.
Wow. So how many hours a day, Rozalynn, for you, generally speaking?
Generally speaking, let's see. So I went to bed last night after midnight. That's on a regular. So I would say, I'd say probably 7 or 8.
Per day?
Per day. And if it's on the weekends, there's some days that I'm just straight. That's all I'm doing. If I'm not working at all, or if when I take time off, I'm working on the business.
All right.
When people are vacationing, like last week, I took paid time off and I spent 3 days just working on the business. 4 days just working on the business.
So how do you maintain, Rozalynn, how do you maintain your marriage when you are working a 9 to 5 and then you're putting 6 or 7 hours per day in a business?
The good thing about our setup is in those 6 or 7 hours, I'm also working on my husband's business. So we are working together. Hashtag Team Goodwin. Which is all, we're building. And I don't spend a whole lot of time thinking about it too, because I think a lot of people get stuck thinking about how they're going to do something versus getting up and starting something, just doing something today. So I don't get paralyzed by or immobilized by fear and trying to figure out things. We do. One of the things that my husband and I have instituted in the last year and a half, so we're probably on our 6th or 7th, every quarter we get away from everything. We get away from the children. We love them, but they know, like, y'all are getting away from us. Yes, we are. Every quarter we get away, and I really encourage other couples to do the same thing. We've got some guidelines for it. It is within 2 to 3 hours. It's usually driving distance. It has been for us just to keep the affordability there. We usually leave on a Sunday, maybe come back on a Tuesday or Wednesday. So we're able to get lower rates for wherever we're going. And we'll get away. And that motivates us to the next getaway. Now, we do spend a little bit of time, maybe like on the last day or a day in the middle, just kind of strategically looking forward, because we're all in business together. We'll do that. But that helps to maintain our marriage, just getting away from everything, getting in a different setting. That certainly helps. I think that us working together, particularly on both of these businesses, helps to keep our marriage together, because we're not working on things separately. He's not over here doing comedy and I'm over here doing the bows, because we're all in this together. We were all at a business conference together the last couple of days. That helps to keep our marriage together, because there's no separation in what we're doing. I think that is one thing that maybe couples can struggle with, because they're keeping things separate. You know, we really believe that if God ordained for this invention to come through our family, it is a family thing. We are all working on this in some type of way. Now, Mike may not be able to inspect bows because he's on the road, but his financial contribution is there. His support is there. He's helping Gabby with her keynote speeches. So those type things. I can't tell Mike's jokes, but I can handle his bookings. I can handle his calendar. So we're actively involved. We do merch. You know, there's a show local. Gabby and Michael, our son, is selling Daddy's merch. So we keep it together because we're all working together, and we're all working to build legacy and generational wealth, and it's not separated. So we believe that in building our family, we're also building business.
All right, guys, we'll be right back. I know you are right in the middle of an incredible conversation, and you were gleaning things from this incredible conversation that we're having currently. We'll get right back to it. I was enjoying myself as well, but I wanted to interject really quickly and just invite you, if you are listening to this podcast, that probably means that you are also on social media. Well, listen, I'm on social media. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. As a matter of fact, y'all, guess what? I'm also on Pinterest. I would love to have you as a part of my tribe, my following, my connection, my social media family. And so if you're on any of those platforms, I'm at CJ Harris O-N-E, CJ Harris, O-N-E. Would love to connect with you. So while this commercial is even going on, before we get back into the conversation, why don't you go online right now, pull your devices out, pull your computer out, and hit the follow button, hit the friend request button, hit the engage button, and we'd be so glad to have you as a part of our social media following and family. Not only that, as you listen to this podcast, you may be hearing things that are insightful for you, things that are being shared where the light bulb goes off. I would love to hear about those moments. As a matter of fact, you may be listening and there may be questions that you have or things you'd like to share with us that you're hearing. And either way, we'd love to hear from you. So please send us an email. The email address is info, I-N-F-O, at ChristopherJHarris.com. Again, that's info at ChristopherJHarris.com. Not only that, but lastly, if you have a project or a book or a platform that you'd like to promote or advertise with us, you're thinking that this would be a great audience for you to reach and connect with, we'd love to start a conversation with you about that. So please send us an email, again, at info at ChristopherJHarris.com. And in turn, we'll send you an information sheet and be glad to start that incredible conversation of partnership with you. With that said, guys, let's get right back into this amazing conversation that we're having. Be sure to pull your notes back out. It's going to be fun. Let's go. I hope that anybody that is listening to this right now has a fire that has been lit in them. I want to say thank you to both of you guys, not just for what you are doing for your company, but I think the example that you're setting, you are literally changing a generation. And I don't want that while you are in grind mode, Mom, and Gabby, while you are, having fun selling colorful bowls. I'm not even sure, Gabby, if you recognize the significance of really what's happening here. There's a mindset shift happening. And I think, for your mom and dad to be doing what they're doing in 2019, I can just sense the significance of this in year 2089 and 2099, of how much of a magnitude the sweat equity and the work that you guys are putting in now and what that's going to mean. So I could talk to you guys for another couple hours. I know that you don't have that. So what I'd like to do is this. Gabby, tell me 2 or 3 things that you have learned over the last few years that you think would be beneficial to somebody else to hear. And then I'm going to throw the same question at your mom, and then we'll close out and we'll have some fun with some closing questions. All right. So Gabby, what have you learned? 2 or 3 things you've learned over the last couple of years that you think would help other people?
I think one thing is that no is just an abbreviation for next opportunity. I mean, there's like a bunch of no's that you will get once you hit that yes. Once you get that yes, once you celebrate it, you're able to look back and be like, those no's were just an opportunity for me to go further. And then another thing is, don't let your age or your race or anything be able to set you back and have that mindset where you aren't supposed to be doing. You can do anything at whatever age or whatever race you are, whatever gender you are, or whatever. Don't let your age stop you. Age is just a number, and your race is just a word. Your gender is just a word. Just go and do what you're called to do.
That's incredible, Gabby. That's absolutely amazing. Rozalynn, because you've gotten an unofficial MBA, I'm sure over the last few years. So what would you say? I mean, you've dropped already a bunch of stuff about the patents and, entrepreneurship and parenting and manufacturing processes and all of that. But what else, 2 or 3 things that you think have been some major things that you've gleaned over the last couple of years?
I want to go back to immobilization and how people get stuck just trying to figure out. And I'm that type of way. I'd love to have a 20-step blueprint on how Gabby Bowles will reach his first $1 million. Oh man, it would be awesome. That's not how faith works, though. You get an inspiration. You might get step one, and that's it. With step one, take your faith, take your trust, step out on step one, and trust God that he will reveal step two. He'll send somebody for step three to help. You'll meet someone at a conference for step four. You got to move. Like, you cannot stay stuck at pre-step one. And that's what a lot of people do. They don't know what step two is. So
can I stop you? Can I just stop you just for a second? I don't want you to lose your thought, but I was sitting here struggling because I was trying to figure out vocabulary or language to articulate why I just had these amazing, I don't want to just say vibes, but why the hair was standing up on my arms as you guys were talking. And I just realized what it was. What you guys today have articulated is not motivation. For so long, I feel like motivation is short term. Like, you can be motivated. Somebody can come give you a motivational speech, but you said it 3 times. At some point, you got to work. You got to push past the no's and the tiredness and the frustration and the complexities, and you just got to get it done. And I think I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, yeah, that's it. I mean, you got to move. You know, you have our pastor often says that success is when opportunity, I'm not trying to mess up his quote, but it basically that time and chance happens to us all. When you have that time, you got to take your chance. You have a window of time to move. And, you know, a lot of times success is when preparation meets opportunity. So you're either working to prepare yourself for that opportunity, and then when the time comes, you got to move. You got to step out on it. You can't be stuck in saying, okay, I'm not going to go to this meeting. I'm not going to go to this networking reception because I don't know what I'm going to. So there's so many people who are just stuck with wonderful ideas. Dr. Miles Monroe said the richest place in the world is in the graveyard. People dying with books, dying with inventions, dying with solutions to people's common everyday problems. So don't get stuck in immobilization. Don't get stuck in fear. Don't get stuck in not knowing what step 2, 3, 4, and 5 is. And move, bust a move. I would also encourage parents on here. Listen to your children. An older mother told me one time, she said, you know, they're not far from heaven.
Wow.
Sometimes, yes. So sometimes our children, and the Bible talks about it, is childlike faith that we all aspire to have. Sometimes your example of faith is looking at you every single day, and you're hearing them speak, but you're really not paying attention. And like we already differentiated, you know, just wham, I'm gonna play NFL, I'm gonna be a comedian, I'm gonna do all that type of stuff. But if they are persistent with something, you really need to seek God and be like, okay, is there something there? And that's exactly what happened. So after Pastor gets into the Twitter conversation, and, you know, we have this exchange with Gabby doing her hair, and she kept asking me about it, I basically had to have a moment of submission to God and just say, you know, God, if there is something here, you're going to have to show it to me, because I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where to start. I don't know who to call. You're just going to have to show it to me. And that was my prayer. I said, God, if there's something there, you got to show it to me. But I was open. So you got to be open. Seek God about what your child may be telling you. You know, we have now 70 girls and their moms in our Mommy and Me Entrepreneurship Academy. We're on a mission to help 1,000 moms and their daughters by 2025 start their own businesses. And some of these girls, man, we're seeing them develop just since November, coming out of their shyness and their own video, and they're learning how to sell online. They're learning how to sell face-to-face at vendor shows. just what's being developed in them over the last few months, regardless of whether they stay in entrepreneurship or not. Listen, you only have your children for 18 years and you're trying to prepare them. It's our job, it's our duty to prepare them for life without us. It's our duty to prepare them to be successful without us. So we have this window of time. So please don't ignore your child. Please don't ignore developing the skills that they need to be successful in life without you. And I think those are mainly just kind of my main tips. Listen to your child, develop your child, sacrifice for your child. That's what parenting is all about. And just be encouraged. Be encouraged that it won't be like this always. I tell myself that often. You know, you may be in the thick of things right now and things may not be profitable and you may feel stuck and you may feel like, why am I doing this? Listen, you're not really doing big, transformational, trailblazing stuff unless you think about quitting at least 2 or 3 times a week. If you ain't thinking about quitting about 2 or 3 times a week, you ain't doing nothing. You really ain't. You ain't doing nothing. So it is normal to feel that way sometimes. But listen, you encourage yourself. It's not going to be like this always. Things are looking up. You have your affirmations. You have your confessions. And I promise you things will turn around.
So I have listened in my lifespan. I have listened to probably thousands. That's not a stretch. Thousands of interviews, of sermons, of motivational talks, of wisdom talks, of podcasts, of speeches, of step-by-steps. And as even though I'm hosting this talk today, as a listener, for those of you that are listening to this, I can promise you, you want to go back, if you weren't already, get you a notepad and a pen and go back and listen to this interview again. I think what Gabby has shared today, what Rozalynn has shared today with you has been monumental. And this is just absolutely amazing. I don't know what else to say other than go back and listen to this. This has been absolutely incredible. You guys are changing the game on multiple levels. And I'm glad to, at least for Mike and I talk on a regular basis. I obviously don't get a chance to talk to you guys often, but thank you for what you are and who you are. And very honored to be connected to you guys. So let's close the interview out. Let's have some fun with some fun questions. I get a chance to ask some pretty cool questions to everybody that comes on the podcast. And so in this case, I've got 2 different people on. So I'm going to ask one set of questions to Gabby, and we'll do that. And then I'm going to ask another set of questions to Rozalynn. So Gabby, these are called what I call the quick fire questions. So you got to answer these questions with the first thought that comes to mind as quick as you can. All right?
Okay.
All right. She's nervous. All right. So get a little bit closer to the mic, Gabby, so we can hear you real good. All right. So first question, what's your favorite movie?
Princess and the Frog.
Princess and the Frog. All right. Favorite TV show?
Oh, gosh. SpongeBob.
SpongeBob SquarePants. All right. What college do you think you want to go to?
Either like South Carolina or, probably South Carolina. University.
Okay. So you want to be a Gamecock?
Yes, I am already. So, woo.
Okay. Your favorite meal?
My favorite meal is probably chicken and vegetables.
And what's your favorite subject in school?
Math.
Awesome. All right. What's your favorite quote?
My favorite quote is, probably fine. No, it's just an abbreviation for next opportunity.
I love it. I love it. Great job, Gabby. It's been a pleasure talking with you today. You are absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. All right, Rozalynn, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Apple or PC?
PC.
All right. Interview over. I'm just kidding.
I don't have an Apple, so.
Okay. It's all good.
PC.
All right. It's all good. All right. If you could do any other career, what would you do?
Entrepreneurship full time.
Your favorite food?
My favorite food.
You don't eat, huh?
This house never.
Gosh, I gotta have a favorite food.
I don't even have.
Turkey burgers.
Okay. Favorite movie?
Color Purple.
Favorite TV show?
And I don't watch TV. I don't watch TV.
Okay. Top 3 items on your bucket list?
Ooh. All right. Bucket list. Africa. Traveling to Africa. Traveling to Paris. And getting my parents out of debt.
Love it. Last 3 books you've read?
Okay, the Bible.
Okay, can't include the Bible, other than the Bible.
Can't include the Bible. Okay, all right. E-Myth. There's one I'm reading right now. So E-Myth, the 12-week year. And I just started this one. I want to mention it because it's so good, but I am blanking on the name right now. So E-Myth, 12-week year. And, No, believe, not believe. Let's stick with those 2 till I think about the other one because I really want to mention it.
All right, it's going to come back. So here's the last question. Did you win any superlatives in high school?
Most likely to succeed.
Did you really?
I did.
That is incredible. Incredible. All right, did the book come to mind yet?
It has not. It's in my car. It's the book behind the...
Oh, that one?
Yeah.
It's all good. Here's the beauty. The beauty of it is that you can send it to me and I will add it to the show notes.
Okay, awesome.
So that's incredible. So thank you guys so much for making space today to be on the Wise Idea podcast. This has been absolutely amazing. We have been in this series talking about life stories, literally learning from the stories of others. And you guys have given us a 15-year course in less than an hour. And so that's been absolutely amazing. Our announcer is going to come and share some more details with you of how you can get connected with us. Please go to iTunes and Google Play, subscribe to the podcast, and also leave a rating and a review. That's actually how other listeners find us. Again, I'm honored that you have taken the time to be on with us today. I end every single week the same way, and that is live wisely.
Thanks again for joining us on another episode of the Wise Idea Podcast with Christopher J. Harris. We hope you enjoyed our time together. If you did and would like additional resources and information, you can find the previous episodes, show notes, featured guest information, and more at www.thewise-ideapodcast.com. We also invite you to join the conversation on social media. The Wise Idea Podcast is on Twitter and Facebook. Find us at The Wise Idea and at our Facebook group, The Wise Idea Podcast. On Instagram, find us at The Wise Idea Podcast. Our host is also on social media. You can find him regularly on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Pinterest, all located at CJ Harris 1. Finally, if you enjoyed what you've heard, head over to iTunes and or Google Play and leave a rating and review for other listeners to find us. Our podcast is also on Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Thanks again for joining us. We will see you the next time. Live wisely. Bye.